fan base to invest. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock at fan base at $665 a share, at a valuation of $160 million. But I want to be clear that this is actually equity in fan base as a startup. We are taking advantage of something called the Jobs Act to raise our capital directly from the community of people that support and use fan base. And I think it's a unique opportunity to do so. It makes me happy to be able to do this. It makes me excited to be able to do this. And we want you all to participate and spread the word about investing. And we're doing this to continue to scale fan base as a company past the 1.4 million users that we have, and continue to grow. So we're here to talk to you guys, give you some updates, and answer some questions.
Awesome. Let's do a quick ping pong of questions and answers based on what we've seen from some of our past investors. All right.
Mhm.
So, number one is you already share what's the minimum, right? Which is 399. But how many times can I invest?
You can invest in fan base as many times as you would like. You can kind of create your own portfolio of stock and fan base in multiple rounds. That is just simply by creating a Start Engine account. So if you invested in the past, you can invest again and add more shares in this new round. So there is no maximum amount of time that you can invest in fan base.
What's the maximum I can invest?
There is no maximum. There is no maximum. When you're doing a Regulation A crowdfund, this crowdfund is available to accredited and non-accredited investors. That allows any investor to take as much of the round as they want to. Again, there's probably about almost about six and change million left over to take of this round, and so we're really excited about that. And offers more opportunity for people to invest. So if you wanted to take that last 4 or 5 million, you are more than welcome to do so. We encourage it. We encourage everybody to get on the cap table and have equity in the company.
Definitely, definitely. If you are planning on investing a large sum, um, please reach out to investment at fanbase.app. We want to help you. The process itself is fairly simple. We're going to talk about it, but a lot of times when you do want to invest large amounts, we can put you in touch directly with the Start Engine team, and they can walk you through and hold your hand across the entire process. All right.
Yep.
So I'm a new investor. I just invested. Um, how do I keep up with everything that is going on in Fanbase? How do I, stay up to date?
Well, the first thing that I would say is, as an investor, when you invest in fan base, you make your investment through Start Engine, and Start Engine is the custodian of the shares that you invest in the company. So you would create a Start Engine account, and anytime you want to check the status of your fan base stock, log into your Start Engine account. That is like your wallet. That is your portfolio for the companies that you invest in through Start Engine, and that one will be fan base. So you would always be able to see your stock there. That's very, very important because sometimes people don't know and they get maybe lost in the process or want to update on even the process of where they are investing in the company. You can always find that information by logging into your Start Engine account. And that's really, really important. We also do updates at least twice a week through the campaign page that you'll be able to find on the Start Engine page for Fanbase. And then we also do investor newsletters as well to keep our current investors, new investors, updated on what's going on with Fanbase.
That's great. So if is there any other place that I can invest on Fanbase besides Start Engine?
No. There are two links, startengine.com/fanbase and investment.fanbase.app. And those are the two URLs where you will be able to invest in Fanbase. There's a lot of fraud going on when it comes to investing and stuff like that. I myself will never personally ask you to cash at me money, Venmo me money, teach you how to do crypto, teach you how to do trading, none of that stuff. I strictly only speak about investing in this company at the moment, on Start Engine. So again, we'll look out for scammers because they're out there.
Definitely, definitely. All right. Well, let's talk about first. I would like for you, and you cannot already share it, but let's talk about the the real difference, or what's the difference in investing in Fanbase versus anywhere else? Because I want everyone to hear from you directly. What are the number one, two, three reasons why someone should invest in Fanbase, and then we'll talk a little bit about additional reasons why they should invest. But let's talk about why is Fanbase different as an investment.
Well, I think first, as an investment, typically the opportunity to invest in early stage startups were left to accredited investors, aka already rich people. And I think that's important because when we look in the space of social media, there's a big community of individuals that actually give the value to these apps. There isn't an app out here that doesn't owe their success to the community that consistently uses the platform. The problem that happens is that a lot of the users and a lot of the creators on the platform don't have equity. And so they wind up helping build a company to a multi-million, multi-billion dollar valuation, but never see any real ownership in what they do. And so as I built Fanbase for creators, for everybody to use, the opportunity to allow the actual community to have equity in the company came about through Start Engine. And I think that's really the biggest difference is that you're actually getting a seat at the table of equity of a platform that you actually yourself can help control and help change the value of the platform by using it, telling other people to invest. And we've never been here before when it comes to social media, the convergence of social media culture, tech, and monetization, what we call the social economy. And so this is a really, really great time. Fan bases continue to grow. We've only gotten better every year that we've been working on the platform. And so that's, really, really important. Again, um, you don't get a chance to invest in early stage tech startups because of this regulation. But that now that regulation is gone, you can go to Start Engine and actually have equity in the company. And equity is important because we see a lot of these. I actually posted a post that someone sent me today that I've spoken about probably 1,000 times over the last few years about how the seed investors of Uber took a chance on Uber, and it took 9 years for their investment to see a return. But when it did, it wound up being about a 5,000x return on what the initial investment was. And so there's an investor that put in um, $5,000, and that investment turned into like $24 million after 9 years. And the ability for companies, and when I think about fan base, the upside or the potential value of a social media platform can get into the billions of dollars, right? And we've seen that. I mean, I don't think there's any major social media platform out there that exists that isn't worth at least $2 or $3 billion. So if we're talking about Snap, Insta, TikTok, um, X, those platforms, Facebook, these are multi-billion dollar platforms. And again, it's always been a small group of rich people always having the money to own these platforms. So that's why we wanted to do it this way.
Love it. That's the biggest and best reason why you should own part of Fanbase as well. But let's talk about uh, five, really six different reasons why you should also invest in Fanbase. They're perks. We call them perks. So depending on how much you invest on Fanbase, you get additional perks. All right. If you are an existing investor that invested in any of the past three rounds, you get automatically 5% bonus shares. So if you invested in the past, we have a lot of investors that have invested on first round and they're still here as users. They probably already made their money back. They invested through Fanbase. But if you invest again, you're going to get automatically a 5% bonus shares. Then, depending on how much you invest, you are also part of all these different tiers. We have 5 tiers. Let's go with the first one. Tier one, if you invest $600 or more, you're going to be part of our early access to a new Fanbase feature list. Okay. We are going through a lot of work and rework in the app, but we're going to have some exciting features coming up this year. So you definitely want to be in that early access list because we're going to start using that more than ever. Then on tier two, if you invest $1,000 or more, you're going to get the access to this early access list. you're going to be getting also 10,000 loves that you can use in Fanbase to support your favorite content creator. And also you're going to get a verified profile badge, which is the blue badge that you probably see around Fanbase. If you invest $2,500 or more, you're part of tier three. You're going to get everything that I share for tier two. And then you're going to get 15,000 labs instead of 10,000 labs. You're going to get a fan-based t-shirt. By the way, guys, Thursday, if you come to my Thursday Tech Talk, I'm going to wear my new t-shirt that Isaac gave me after many years of having asked that. So you'll see, you have to come and see it. But you will get a fan-based t-shirt if you're part of tier three, $2,500 or more. And you're also going to get a verified profile badge, which is a blue badge. Tier four is $5,000 or more. Everything that I share on tier three, you're gonna get 20,000 laughs instead of 15,000. You're gonna get the t-shirt. You're gonna get an early investor gold verified profile badge. So you get this, the extra special badge, and also 5% bonus shares. If you are an investor that invested in any of the prior three rounds and you invest $5,000 or more in this round, you're going to get automatically 10% bonus shares, 5% for being an existing investor and 5% for being part of tier four. And then last but not least, we have tier five, which is $10,000 or more. You're going to get everything that I share on tier four. You're going to get 30,000 labs to use on Fanbase. You're going to get a t-shirt. You're going to get the gold verified early investor badge. You're also going to get access to a private dinner with us. Once we close this race, we're going to bring everyone that was part of tier five or diamond levels, and we're going to celebrate together. So we're waiting for the race to be over to give out this perk. And then you get 10% bonus shares. Again, if you invested in the past in any of the prior three rounds and you invest again $10,000 or more, you're going to have 15% bonus shares, 10% for this tier, and then 5% for being an existing investor. So these are five, really six different reasons, additional reasons why you should invest in Fanbase. Things about the perks that I know you're probably going to be asking. Number one is if you invested and you haven't claimed your perks yet, please reach out to support@fanbase.app or shake the phone when you have the app open. You heard me well. Shake the phone and you will be able to claim your perks. Support will ask you for a few verification questions, and then we'll be able to assign all the perks. All right. Number two, we are honoring multiple investments, which means that we can stack your investments. So if you invest $600 today and you invest $2,000 tomorrow, we can put those together and make you part of tier three. So you can get more. So if you invested in the past and you want to try to get to one of the perks, the best way you can do that is invest again. You can invest as many times as you want. So we do honor the stacking of perks. What we cannot stack is what we cannot control, which are the bonus shares. Those bonus shares are handled by Start Engine, so we cannot. But everything else, the labs, t-shirts, badges, and so on, we'll stack them. So just make sure you reach out to support and let them know about it. All right. With that said, let's take a little pause and see if we have any questions. I've seen some questions coming and going, and then we'll continue with the rest of the topics. Let's see. Woo! I looked at it like 2 minutes ago. There was no lot of questions, and now there's a lot of questions.
Lots of
Um,
questions.
I know. Well, I'm gonna. We have Silvana, who's our amazing CFO, on the chat. She's answering some of those questions, but I'm gonna repeat some of these because they might be valuable to other ones that might miss it on the chat. Someone said, "How can I obtain a copy of the investor agreement?" The best way, that investor agreement is in your Start Engine account, but the best way to find out more information about it is to reach out to Start Engine at contact@startengine.com. If for any reason you're frustrated, you're not hearing from them, or you want to invest and you're having issues and Start Engine for any reason is not being able to help you, please email us at investment@fanbase.app and we'll be more than glad to help you or escalate so we can get you settled. All right. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Someone asked, okay, it was to me, but I know Isaac, you'll have a say. Someone said, Hello, Rama. This is not investing related, but are you aware and can you briefly tell us the differences between Fanbase and the Spill app? All right.
Hmm, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I think off the top, uh, Fanbase is a social media platform that has six content formats, right? Which are media posting, stories live, audio chat, short form, and long form content creation. And it's monetized with subscriptions. So it's monetized for you to get tips. It's monetized for you to have subscriptions and you have followers. Um, and uh, I think Spill primarily is a microblogging platform. So they have other functionalities in there and things that they have, but that's the biggest difference. I think that Spill's primary function is microblogging, and ours is more about just content creation and social media and all forms of media, including microblogging, which we'll be adding sometime in 2025. I'm not gonna say when, but we will be adding. Fanbase Spark to the mix, which will be our seventh format available for people to use. And we're excited about that. But that's the biggest difference that we have multiple um, content formats. We are monetized already for the community through tipping and subscription. So those are, I think, the big differentiators between us and Spill.
Definitely. You took that out of my mind. And also, we do have a lot of common things. And one of those is also that we're driven by culture. And I will say that we take pride on being a creator first platform. And that's the reason why
Yeah,
we have the many different content formats, because we want to make it as simple and as straightforward and as fun as possible to create content and also enjoy it while you make money as well. So hopefully
absolutely.
that answer your question. All right, let's keep on going through some of these questions. We have some. All right, this is a good question that we're gonna answer it right after this question, but I want to share it. Someone said, "Super excited for you and the team at Fanbase. What are the next steps for Fanbase?" We can talk a little bit about what's coming up next. I think it's a good,
Hmm.
but well, let's hold to that.
Hmm.
Let's see. What else we have here? Sorry, it's a lot of comments. Shout out to the amazing ambassadors out there that are always helping the community, helping onboard new users, and spreading the good news about Fanbase. So just want to take the time to say thank you guys. Um, Someone said, I love this one. Where else can you monetize daily and cash out monthly? Yes, here on Fanbase. You're absolutely right. Um, Someone asked, how do you get the rewards if you already have a fan base account? So Melo, I'm assuming that when you say that is that you already invested and you're a confirmed investor. If you are a confirmed investor and you haven't received our welcome email with all investors should, please reach out to support and they'll be able to verify you and give you the perks and the rewards right away. Okay. And I'm pretty sure we are up to speed. So everyone knows we get an update on the latest investors a week after you invest most of the time, or after you become a confirmed investor. So please be patient. We might be a week behind, but I looked at the queue for tech support before jumping in here, and the team is doing an amazing job. And I think we were able to assign all the perks for those that reach out to us. So we should be good. All right. Let's see what else we have here. Do you see anything else, Isaac? I want to make sure I don't miss anything because then people get mad at me. It's like, Rama, you didn't ask my question.
Yeah, I don't see anything at the moment.
Let's
Let me
see.
look.
All right. Okay. So
Well, I see something
someone
about
asked,
music streaming. Can 24/7 music streaming be monetized? Subscription only. So let's
yeah,
talk about music real quick because music is a big part of social media.
yeah,
So there's a few ways that you can uh post or share music or experience music on Fanbase and primarily on most social media platforms. One of them is um what we call public performance. So that's if you're streaming live on live, like if you're DJing, if you're playing music in an audio room, if you're playing music during live, you have to have a license with the performing rights organizations like ASCAP, BMI, CSEC, SOCAN, and GMR. We have those licenses. So if you ever wanted to DJ freely live in any of these rooms or on live, you're free to do so. The next is UGC, right? And UGC is basically user generated content where you create the content, you add the music before you upload it to the app. So you're using another app or an editing software, Premiere Pro, something else, iMovie, whatever it is, to add music to your content, and then you upload that to Fanbase, and that's UGC. And then there's actually music that's in a music library that you kind of partner with your content as you create it. Currently on Fanbase, we are bringing music back some way. I'm not sure exactly when, but it's coming pretty soon. And then UGC is something that you can upload yourself. Now, when it comes to that, if it is your music that you want to put behind the paywall, you are allowed to do that. If you do not own the rights to that music, you cannot put that music behind the paywall and try to make money off of that. One of the things that is just interesting or that's available is that even on UGC or public performance, people can still tip you. So you can get tipped, which is just people making donations just for being on your page or appreciating the content that you do. And so that's extremely cool, that you have the ability to be tipped for your content, but do not post, music, try to monetize music that does not, belong to you. You have the rights to. I am a career songwriter producer, and I understand how important songwriters and producers and artists getting paid for their music is. So yeah, we only want you to either use public performance or post music that you know that you have the rights to use to monetize via subscription.
Awesome. So I did write down several questions while you were talking. I'm going to try to match it to the topic that we're going to be talking about. Someone asked, um, I think it's important for us to clarify. How do you validate people? Is it a pay to play verification like X and Meta, or is it based on actual status?
Yeah. So it's actually neither. Um, and so the actually, what? That reminds me. I got to watch the next episode of the Twitter documentary. Um, so because Twitter actually came up with the verification badge. They actually the inventors of the blue check before any social app. So the real purpose of verification initially was that people were on the platforms impersonating celebrities and public figures. And so we all know that we have an online, a public profile, but typically people that are notable public figures. That can be celebrities, that can be politicians, that can be religious clergy, that can be athletes, that can be news reporters, people that are consistently on camera, on television a lot. That is the purpose of verification that we provide. Now, as a perk to being an investor in fan base, and people understand that on some level you have invested or participated, you will get a blue check investing at a particular level on fan base, and then a gold check, anything after 5,000 or above, you become you get a gold verified check. And those are the ways that you get verified, either submitting through verification because you're a public figure and you don't want people to take your identity and claim to be someone that you're not, or you invested through the round. Now, after the round is closed, right, you cannot purchase a verification badge. So it's not like you're going to pay monthly for a verification badge on Fanbase. And I understand, how important that is. And who knows in the future if verification is going to be needed on other levels, just simply because of AI, because now anybody can be impersonated. And I think about that quite a bit, that the ability for, protecting people's identity just from regular, average everyday people being able to be, have images made and stuff like that. And so verification is going to be somewhat important moving the future, but it's not a pay to play, and it's not based on status. It's based on if there's a likelihood that someone will pretend to be you. Like, and I'm going to use myself as an example because I've seen some fake Isaac Hayes profiles on here. If it doesn't have the blue check like me, it is not me. And that's the reason why. So if someone's DMing you on here, and so you see a profile that it says it's Isaac Hayes and it's on Fanbase, please report the page because that's not me. I have a gold check to my name. And that's really, again, for people that work at Fanbase or people that have invested at a certain level. So please report those fake pages because we don't want anybody getting confused. But it's not about status, and it's not a pay to play like a monthly subscription to be verified.
Great. The I'm gonna I wrote down all the questions, guys, so you know, and I'm trying to again match it to a topic. We're talking about the race right now. So someone asked, why are the shares on Start Engine and not on Fanbase?
Oh, that's a very good question. Because it's legally, we are not allowed to sell securities because we're not a securities platform. So after the Jobs Act was passed and the ability for people to invest in early stage companies, these equity crowdfunding platforms started to pop up, and they have to get qualified through the SEC so that there's an intermediary between the investor and the company. And Start Engine is that intermediary, right? And so all the transactions take place on startengine.com. So they are the custodian of their shares. And so they are the agent that is qualified by the SEC to perform and put on these equity crowd funds to allow people to invest. I think it would be very risky for the company itself to actually take on investment this way from the general public. And so it provides a bit of security and comfort between us and the investor, which is what is required by the FCC, and I like that, and so I think that is really one of the main reasons that you want this separation between the investor and the actual app and the intermediary that Start Engine is to do so.
Awesome. All right. Um, then the I think that the next question someone asked, you invested on Thursday. Do I have to wait to claim my perks? What I would say is just always wait at least a week. I'm not sure, and Silvana might be able to answer this. When do we get the information from the new investors in Start Engine? It might be every Monday. I could be incorrect, but the safest thing is to, if you invested, you're a confirmed investor. Um, Once you get that email from us, that's when you know that we have your information. So what we started doing probably about a month ago is we started building an automation that anytime Start Engine gave us the information and we put in our database, you will get an email of the confirmation, even with a button where you can claim your perks. So, but just in case, the safest thing is just wait a week because we're always 1 week behind. So if it was Thursday, I would say wait until the end of the week or next week, okay? And we'll be able to have you in the records and help you with your perks. All right. Someone asked about user engagement data. And I think we can share a little bit because as we approach April 5th, all right, um, first of all, Isaac, share with everyone who might not know what could or might happen on April 5th.
So there is a possibility that there will be no deal done for TikTok. There's a lot of conversation about that. That would be next Saturday. And there's a possibility that the app may go dark if there's not a deal to be made between ByteDance in the United States of America, you know, selling the company, selling the U.S. portion of TikTok to an American company. So far, I haven't heard anything other than China has been adamant about not selling the algorithm and not selling the company, but that can change at any moment. But there's supposedly some backdoor conversations, and an acquisition still takes time. So even if there was, we've heard a lot of conversation that the app could go dark to force again another blackout to force a sale, or it just might, it might go dark because they don't have a person to do that. So um, that's it.
Yeah. So, and the reason why I bring that up too is because this year has been pretty amazing for us so far. It all started in January when TikTok had what I call the telenovela shut down
Yeah,
for 1 day.
12
Um,
hours.
yeah, 12 hours. But there has been some instability in in the world and the social media world before then as well. And this year by itself, we're already at 1.4, approaching 1.5 million users. Our MAUs increased significantly this year. In January/February, we're at 650,000 MAUs across the board. We our the time that the users spend on fan base is something that we always been very proud. And audio rooms is a big part of that. I think we're right now around 30 minutes. Last time I looked at, which is comparable to other platforms like YouTube and so on. Um, One of the things that I'm excited about, and again, for us, insights drives decisions. I'll talk a little bit more about that. But this year by itself, the amount of web traffic that we had to Fanbase already surpassed all of 2024, which is amazing. What that tells us is that there's more eyes on Fanbase. There's an opportunity where we can help convert the web traffic into supporters, into creators, into being part of the community. And just seeing those growth numbers is exciting. Of course, just like any other platform out there, we have our challenges. We are working heavily on retention. So great news is that we're growing organically, and we're being very conscious of our efforts, but all of our efforts and our money goes into retention. Retention is a broad term that obviously is heavily focused on the product itself, on the app, but there's also a lot of other things that influence that. So as we grow and as we see all these numbers growing, we do still have a lot of work to do, and we're excited. And April 5th can be yet another way for us to reach that new plateau, right? Because what you always want to do is you're going to have these spikes, and the expectation is that you're not going to have 100% retention. Every single user will there, but you want everyone to fall in love with Fanbase enough where they want to keep coming back and using it. So April 5th is yet another exciting time and stressful for those that handle the technical part, where also we get a chance to show Fanbase to the world. All right, so hopefully we answered that question on some of the user engagement numbers. There's a lot more, but you know we're definitely going to be working on that. There were some questions, Isaac, around what's next for Fanbase. Even
Hmm.
someone asked, is Fanbase thinking about doing like a marketplace like TikTok? So I think it's a good time for us to talk generally. We don't want to give too many details because we gotta keep some of the secret sauce, right? But maybe let's talk generally about what's the bigger vision for this year for Fanbase, specifically on the product side, right? I just mentioned that we were working on retention and getting better there, right? So
Hmm.
let's talk a little bit about that because
Well,
as we talk about investment, sorry, one more thing. As we talk
mhm.
about investment and putting money, you know, those investment dollars are accessible to Fanbase once they're confirmed, and they do allow us to continue growing the platform and go in the right direction. So let's spend some time talking about that.
Well,
Okay.
I think something that we haven't mentioned or we'll mention probably that we kind of talked about internally that I think is something that I think we should talk about is really the process in Fanbase. Well, I'll say this: Fanbase is a very robust app, right? From the beginning, the vision of Fanbase was to include a lot of media formats to give creators the diversity or the ability, the choice to kind of create in whatever ways they wanted to create, in whatever formats they wanted to do. With that comes some challenges. And one of the challenges is sometimes being a little too robust and overcomplicating the process of organizing all of that content. And so we're in the process of doing some things that we're going to simplify that process to make the user experience a lot more seamless and engaging for people. We don't want to confuse people, as much by finding the things that they really want to participate in and really want to engage with. We want to make that really, really easy. And so that also comes with the ability to actually create an account and just taking things really just back to the basics of what users absolutely want. Because again, even though fan base is a huge um, task and undertaking, it the secret sauce or the formula is how do you simplify something that's very, very complex? And you learn over time, right? We try things, things work, things are can be approved. Some things don't work now, might work later. And so we're learning that all the time as we continue development. And one of the things that we're talking about this year is really simplifying that process, because once the process becomes more simple, more people hang out on the app, and they find the things that they like, and they find the content and the communities they want to be a part of faster. And that's what I want. I want people to find their friends faster, find the content they like faster, be discovered faster, monetize faster, everything. And so simplification does that. And so there's a lot of things that we're doing in the process, over the next couple months to really simplify that process. And then there's something that I'll let Ramiro talk about that we're doing this weekend in preparation for the potential of what may happen on April 5th. And I'll let you talk about that, Rama.
I love it. I love how you simplify the simplification.
Yeah.
But yeah, you hit on the nail. We're definitely when when we talk about retention, there's a lot of efforts out there. Simplification of the platform to have a better experience is the number one priority. And I will mention before I talked about what we're bringing this week is that we've been working on this path and this roadmap for quite some time. We just launched 2 weeks ago a brand new enterprise level moderation system that really allows us to have complete and full visibility of everything that is going on in fan base content wise. And that involves also, we talked a lot about, personifications and bots and stuff like that. So part of this simplification is also making sure that the community and the content is a clean, happy one, right? And there's some we call it dependencies that you must do before you start bringing all the really neat features that we want to bring into Fanbase. So moderation, improvement of community is part of that. We've been working on that. That moderation system is going to continue improving week by week. And as we do that, we're going to start, like Isaac said, simplifying a lot of the experiences with the goal of getting our creators as quickly and as close to monetizing as possible. I do want to mention one metric that you and I and the team talked about, Isaac, is that let's put it in the
Yeah.
chat. How much time do you think in other platforms that are not fan based? How much time do you think it takes a creator to make their first dollar? How much time? Let's see who gets it right. Whoever
Yeah.
gets it right, you give 500, I give 500. 1,000
We
laughs.
we need the exact time. The
The exact
exact
time.
time.
Ooh,
How long does it take for the average creator? Oh, I
oh,
see it.
almost,
No, I see
almost.
it.
Well,
I see the
no,
winner.
there is a half there. I'm
No,
seeing 6.5. All right,
no.
we'll take the 6 months. We'll take the 6 months. It doesn't make a
Yeah.
difference. Six
We'll
months,
take six
6.5.
months.
All right, perfect. 6 months. Let's give some love there. Six
Yeah.
months it takes a creator in any other platform to reach that $1. All right.
Hmm.
At Fanbase, on those that monetize, they reach $1 in less than 2 weeks. All right. So when Isaac says, we want people to stay, stick, hang out, and have a great time, and the overall goal is we want to drive everyone to understand that content has value and they can monetize. And the quicker we do that, the more people are staying, right? So that's an interesting piece of data that we live by every day. So everything we do, simplification of the app, moderation, and I'll talk a little bit about what we're going to bring this week, is geared towards that, right? So just wanted to mention that because there's always a purpose behind every decision that we make on the product side as well. And with all of that said, this week we are launching the what we call the SSO feature, which is basically will allow any new user or even an existing user to use a Google or Apple login. Now, you might think, all right, well, that's great. That's a no-brainer. But for us, we're starting to do a lot of the things that we've been wanting to do for quite some time that we know will improve first experiences inside Fanbase, right? Anytime you share a piece of content, anytime you share your profile out there, and anyone clicks on it and comes into Fanbase, we want to turn that view and that click into someone that follows you, into someone that wants to see your content and is willing to support you by helping you monetize. And this new sign up and sign in flow, we also simplifying it. We didn't just put, Google and Apple. We actually simplify it. We streamline, and the team has been working day and night over the weekend to release it this week. And we're doing it strategically too, because as we have a potential event happening on April 5th, we learned from our January event and we say, you know what, these are the things that we want to work on. So then a second wave that might come on April 5th, we're even in a better place. Okay. So SSO sign up is coming up. Hopefully by the time we talk on my Thursday Tech Talk at 5 p.m., we'll have it live and we can talk about it and we can show you. But that's something that is coming. And again, that's just a small detail of the large roadmap we have in 2025 and that we just talked about.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Awesome.
Let's see. I think I covered most of the questions that we had around the pro roadmap, but I'm sure there's more questions out there. Let me see. I like that the people were either paying attention last time we said 6 months or they got it somewhere. But
Oh,
yeah,
they knew. Yeah, they
it's
up on
crazy.
game.
Look at Jamie. Jamie says it took me an hour just to reach out $1. And that's true. You might think that's an exaggeration, but it just can be anytime, anywhere. You can just show up at Fanbase, you go into an audio room, you start talking, and then suddenly you made $1 just by having a conversation, or you put a comment somewhere, someone thought it was hilarious and he gave you, thousands of laughs. It just can't happen. And that's what's exciting to us. All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. What else? What else? I want to, yeah. Someone said improvement of the community is essential. I want to mention something about moderation that I always bring, Isaac, because a lot of times people think that moderation is just, applying AI and having a system and then everything is going to be okay. And we talked about this all the time, and we're big believers um, that moderation is not just having a great tool. It's a big part of it, and that's why we implemented and we've been working on that. But we also rely on human moderation. So we do have people that also train the model, look at it, assess the situations. Because one of the things that we're proud of is that we don't shadow ban, right?
Yeah.
What happens on other platforms is there's shadow banning, and something that could be perfectly normal suddenly is being taken down. And we don't want to get even close to anything like that, because when we say we want you to be you without limits, we truly mean it, right? So there's having a human intervention in the moderation plus the system, plus also the community moderating as well. I think that's important as well. To us, the three make a perfect combination. We have some platforms that they rely heavily on a system, or other ones that they say, you know what, we're not going to moderate, we're going to just let people think what they think is true and leave it that way. And again, we're a believer that those three pillars should be part of any moderation system, if you're wondering as well. All right. All right, we have 10 minutes. I'm going to grab some of their questions, but in the meantime, Isaac, what do you think about briefly sharing everyone? Again, we have a lot of new users in these town halls as well. How can a new user, we talked about monetization, how can a new user get close to making that first cent on Fanbase?
Oh, that's good. So we have a set of steps that we often talk about that we encourage every user on the platform to do, to give you the best opportunity to maximize your reach, engagement, and earnings on the platform. Right. And I'll start with 1 through 9. There are 9 of them. And I'll go through them quickly because we don't have that much time left and I don't want to, talk too much. First thing is to create a fan base profile. So to do that, make sure that you create a profile. Second thing is migrating your content from Instagram or TikTok. By doing that, your page, you're taking the content from Instagram or TikTok up to 1,000 posts, including captions, your profile photo, what's in your bio, and bringing it to fan base so you look present and visible on the platform. Empty profiles with no profile picture, no content, just look suspicious, and people, and they look like lurker accounts, or they look like inactive accounts. So you want to be active, because then you have real estate that people can actually support you on. Choose a subscription price. The default price on Fanbase for subscription is $4.99. You get 50% of that revenue, but you can choose a price point between $2.99 and $99.99 a month out of the 8 price points that we have, which are $2.99, $4.99, $9.99, $14.99, $19.99, $24.99, $49.99, and $99.99 a month as a subscription price. The reason we choose $4.99, it is the most successful price currently available, because again, it's by volume, as opposed to being super exclusive and charging high amounts. Doesn't mean that somebody won't subscribe to you if you choose a higher subscription amount. Currently, you have the email support. In the future, you'll be able to change that price on your own, but right now you have the email support if you want to change your subscription price. Next, we encourage you that you add fan base to your social bios. So you add fan base to your profile so that you're able to create funnels, right? And this is something that I really have to express. I've done a lot of research, and for people that specifically not necessarily just want to experience content, but for the creator and the individual out here that wants to monetize content, you have to drive people to the places you want to go. And just just from statistically, the people that use the social media platforms that they are on the most popular on to drive them away from those platforms are the ones that are the most successful. Meaning people that are trying to drive people to Instagram, to TikTok are less successful than people who are trying to drive people away from Instagram or TikTok to a platform that they can monetize, to somewhere that they can have subscribers or have support. And so I know the attention that you get on those other platforms is enticing, and we encourage you to use those platforms. The goal should always be, okay, let me also create these links. So add a link in my bio to drive people away from Instagram or TikTok to Fanbase, where I can get support from my subscription content. So I suggest doing that. Next, number 5 is setting up um, a payment profile inside the apps. I mean, it's how you're going to get paid. And so we use the same payment process as Lyft, DoorDash, and Instacart. It's Stripe. You create an account, a payment profile, and on the first of the month, that money will be deposited into your account. Next up is posting at least 5 pieces of exclusive content. And that means content that's behind a paywall that people will subscribe to, that you deem important. And what's important about that is I think people have this fear of not being supported by creating subscription content or knowing what to create. And it's better just to start than to not start at all. It's better to start and figure it out as you go. And you will have people support you. Because a lot of times people just want to support you just to support you. It's not necessarily about what you make, it's about who you are and what you represent and what you mean to them as a creator. So post at least 5 pieces of exclusive content that allows your profile to have be populated with exclusive content that people can subscribe to. Next is create an audio camp, which helps you build community, because audio camps will evolve past audio into other content formats like stories, like live, like posts, like flicks, and like plus. So create an audio camp now. That's just the ability in audio right now to create a community based on a specific interest or topic. So it could be basketball, it could be Bitcoin, it could be whatever it is that you want to talk about, politics, whatever it is, and build your community from there. We have a lot of cool camps on Fanbase. I see them active all the time. I hop in some of the rooms with camps from time to time and just to see what they're doing. And they're thematic sometimes. All the profile pictures are changed to match the identity of the camp. It's really cool. I like to see that, the uniformity. So that's cool. Next up is encourage everybody to download Fanbase and follow you. You don't, as Fanbase has users, and we have, a robust user base, but you also want to just build your own community. Tell your friends to come to Fanbase, download Fanbase, join the app, be a part of the platform. And then again, last is asking people to subscribe to your exclusive content. You can't be afraid to ask people to support you. And I know that, the last 20 years have been spent convincing everybody that their content has no value and that everything should be free. But we've moved past that era. We moved into the era now where people are spending a lot of money creating content, editing, um, getting bottles of water and dunking their face in ice tubs. It's a lot. So so again, that type of and that's an important conversation that I want to have later. But again, being that type of creator, you got to present the opportunity for people to to support you in that way. And so we encourage that. So don't be afraid to ask people to subscribe to exclusive content you make. It is your content. It's the way that you're to be supported. And you will be surprised that from a behavioral or cultural standpoint, supporting each other through subscription is going to be more and more common moving forward, as opposed to older generations of people that may or may not understand that. These younger generations of kids are supporting their creators on platforms like Twitch and other places. So don't be afraid. You'll be surprised how many people want to support you just because they rock with you. And those are the 9 steps.
I love it. I actually always remember back in the day, if you wanted to get followers in Twitter, you had to follow other ones, right? And the social economy works a little bit like that. Obviously, we want everyone to create content. We believe everyone is a content creator, but being supported also means supporting others as well, right? So
Yeah,
and we're seeing that those that support and give love, also as creators, they get it back as well. So that's something that it has more with has to do with human behavior, but it's important too. Don't be afraid of supporting, for sure.
for sure.
All right. Well, we're at 5:58. We
Yep.
talked about a little bit of everything. I do want to say something that we haven't shared on the vision for the rest of the year. I know that we talked about simplification of the platform. We talk about moderation and obviously a lot of other features that are coming along. But also, we are going to be bringing new revenue streams for users. So today, you can make money out of love and subscriptions, but we are working very hard every day to bring other revenue. I know someone mentioned a fan-based market. E-commerce has been one of our goals for this race as well. And we're also doing other efforts to bring other things that I think are going to be very valuable for the creators. So I just want to leave it in there because we forgot to actually answer those questions, but there's going to be more revenue streams coming up for everyone in fan base, hopefully before the end of the year.
Yep.
All right. Well, with that said, Isaac, you do it best. Let's close it up. Let's give a brief recap of where we are, and then we'll leave everyone with the fan base promise.
Absolutely. So we are raising $17 million on a Regulation A equity crowdfund on startengine.com. At the top of the room right now, you can see the link to invest, or you can just go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. We are currently at 10, 10,800,000 or $10.8 million raised for Fanbase. We're going to $17 million, so we're almost at $11 million, and there'll be 6 million left to go. And we're going to push and continue to close this raise as fast as possible. We're on track to close this raise sooner than you think. So we encourage everybody to go to Start Engine and invest. And the reason we're doing this is the ability for users and the general public to have equity in a social media platform has really been very, very rare until equity crowdfunding came on the scene. And so I'm taking advantage of this opportunity to allow the community of people that use Fanbase, that are early adopters and believers, to actually own part of the platform as we continue to scale. And so that's really, really important, because you yourself as a user or as an investor have that opportunity to help Fanbase grow and become a successful company just by, telling people that they can invest. So again, you can go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. We'd love to have you. And we will see you next Tuesday from our Fanbase Investor Town Hall from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fanbase. Everyone have a great Tuesday and the rest of your week.
not the absence of fear, but the ability to overcome it. We stand for those who defy suppression, who speak out, and those who walk the road less traveled. Everyone deserves to be seen and their voices be heard. We're sparking a movement, growing a community of creators united by the desire for freedom, choice, equity, and ownership. At Fanbase, it's all for one and one for all. We support each other to guide, promote, and uplift you in a place where you can unapologetically be yourself. A place where your voice, ideas, and creativity are not just welcomed, but celebrated. We are Black founded, minority funded, and supported by a diverse, inclusive, powerful community that believes in the strength of authenticity and individual choice. Regardless of success or background, we welcome you, the marginalized, the underappreciated, the successful, the superstar. We're for all who seek a space to express themselves freely, where they are rewarded for being their authentic, true self. We transcend labels because only we have the right to define ourselves. We are built for the brave, the culture, the creators, and for the future where everyone has a power to shape their own destiny, where all are empowered, voices are amplified, and freedom is embraced. For the first time, you have a chance to own the platform you helped make popular. It's a revolution, a movement in how we connect, create, and share. Everyone is a creator, and everyone has a fan base. Here, you can be you without limits.